No matter how ready you are for a vacation, there are places in this world you should never visit. We're talking lakes that will kill you, caves that will cook you alive, and infested islands where you can pick up the bubonic plague as a souvenir. We'll now show you which dangerous places you should avoid. Before we get started, be sure to hit the like button and ring the notification bell for more great videos. Also, stick around until the end to see one of the most dangerous places you've never heard of. Tornado Alley. Tornadoes are a stormy demonstration of the elemental force of nature. When these terrifying twisters sweep across the landscape, they effortlessly swipe away people, cars, and buildings and leave nothing behind. Fortunately, tornadoes are somewhat rare in most parts of the world. However, in some parts of the southern United States, they pose serious threats and can cause more damage than hurricanes. Due to the climatic conditions of the country, 1,200 tornadoes lash the U.S. every year. Tornado Alley is a particularly common area for hurricanes to form, not a big surprise considering the name. This is an area in the Midwest that stretches across the states of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. Across the country, tornadoes kill around 80 people each year and injure an average of 1,500. Most people are injured by the debris that is thrown around. Death Valley. Conveniently, if you fancy a fried egg in Death Valley National Park, you don't need a frying pan. Just crack the egg on the scorching hot ground. Within this region, which is mostly in California, the thermometer rises up to 56.7 degrees Celsius. If you now hope that it will at least cool down a bit during the night, you may as well forget about it. In July 2021, an unbelievable night temperature of 42 degrees Celsius was measured here. In 2017, a tourist got the bright idea of walking barefoot through Death Valley. Afterwards, he was hospitalized with third-degree burns. In addition, we're dealing with one of the driest areas on our planet. However, the climate is not the only danger that visitors must prepare for. Death Valley's natural inhabitants such as scorpions, rattlesnakes, and poisonous spiders should also be kept in mind. Yungas Road. The Yungas Road in the Bolivian Andes, or in other words, the most dangerous road in the world. Those who are out and about here can marvel at the sight of a breathtaking landscape panorama. On the other hand, the road of death runs along steep precipices without crash barriers, and the slippery ground, the dense fog, and the constant danger of falling rocks or landslides don't really make driving here any more pleasant. Up to 300 travelers per year died here up to 2007. Countless crosses on the roadside remind us of their fate to this day. Officially, the traffic route that opened in 1936 can still be used, but it's rarely used nowadays. In addition to the terrible incidents that take place here, this is also due to the fact that a new line was completed in 2007 that is significantly less dangerous. Skeleton Coast. Ah yes, the beach. Amidst the warm sand and the sound of the sea, it's wonderful to relax here. Unfortunately, things on the Skeleton Coast of Namibia are not quite as idyllic. The heavy surf, treacherous currents, and dense wafts of fog ensure that this stretch of coast is still one of the most dangerous in the world. Evidence of this is also given by the silent shipwrecks that have graced the area for countless years. If a seafarer who had had an accident did manage to get himself to land, no better fate awaited him there. In the hinterland is an extremely dry desert that leaves no hope of survival. Naika Mine. Wouldn't it be great to see the up to 14-meter-long and 50-ton crystals of the Naika mine up close? Well, not really. In fact, the conditions prevailing in the Mexican ore mine can be described without hesitation as extreme. Anyone who enters the Cave of Crystals is confronted with temperatures between 45 and 50 degrees and humidity of up to 100%. Under these circumstances, the sweat on the skin can no longer evaporate, so that the body continues to heat up. Anyone who visits this place without the appropriate special equipment is in danger of collapsing within minutes. Therefore, we prefer to admire the impressive crystal pillars, which are made of selenite, by the way, from afar. Lake Karachay. Why Lake Karachay in Russia is by no means suitable for a bathing trip is proven by the unwelcome title that this body of water has. It's said to be the most polluted place on Earth. No wonder, since the Soviets started using the lake as an interim storage facility for radioactive waste in the early 1950s. The irradiated waste had previously been disposed of in a river. However, as more and more local residents were struggling with serious diseases such as leukemia or lung cancer, Lake Karachay was considered a more suitable alternative. After one of the discarded tanks had already exploded, the lake finally began to dry up more and more. The emerging drought in the late 1960s meant that radioactive dust was blown across large parts of the region. From then on, around 500,000 people were confronted with the consequences of radiation exposure. However, it wasn't until 1978 that the lake was filled with concrete and completely covered in 2015. Anyone staying close to the shore risks acute radiation sickness. The radiation exposure for unprotected people is fatal after just 1 hour. There's also a risk that the contaminated water will find its way into the Techa River via the groundwater, and from there to the Arctic Ocean. Boiling Lake. Now that the cold season is slowly knocking on our door, there's nothing better than relaxing in a warm bath. No matter how hot your bathwater is, you would never set foot in Dominica's Boiling Lake. The lake is more like a steaming cooking pot than a natural whirlpool. In the 19th century, water temperatures of 91.5 degrees Celsius were measured here, and mind you, near the shore. While the exact background to Boiling Lake is still unknown, researchers believe its boiling properties are linked to volcanic activity. Runit Island. Imagine a picturesque tropical island. Do you immediately think of images of white sandy beaches, crystal clear water, and a huge concrete dome full of radioactive waste? Wait, what? Yes, you heard correctly. For several decades now, the usual landscape of the island of Runit has also included an oversized nuclear waste storage facility. Between 1946 and 1958, the United States conducted numerous nuclear weapon tests in the Marshall Islands. A total of 67 nuclear weapons were detonated here, and the environment was badly affected. Even today, more than 60 years after the series of tests, some regions are still uninhabitable. But what have those responsible done to remove their deadly traces? Well, in 1977, the gigantic crater on Runit was first filled in, followed by the construction of an oversized reinforced concrete dome. However, these measures don't really seem to be effective. A 2012 study shows that radioactive material is leaking from the dome. In addition, the structure could be damaged or even destroyed by a typhoon. Cape Tribulation. Cape Tribulation is a fitting name for an area in Australia that's unbelievably dangerous. This area isn't deadly because of a high rate of crime or potential for natural disasters, rather because of its dangerous animals that live there. Located in northern Queensland, this park has several warning signs that alert guests of the many dangers that lurk around every corner. One sign in particular mentions that the ocean waters are dangerous in the area, as jellyfish are known to frequently travel nearby. These jellyfish often travel in packs, meaning that there are likely hundreds of them within just a few feet of the shoreline. They pose a serious health risk to humans, and it's advised that you wear a sting-proof suit before entering the waters. However, However, even if you wear a suit, it won't save you from the dozens of saltwater crocodiles that are known to live nearby. Saltwater crocodiles are one of the most vicious and aggressive animals that currently exist, and they'll attack anything in their path. They're known to attack humans quite regularly, and very few individuals survive. Though if you manage to make it past the saltwater crocodiles, several cassowaries live in the area that are ready to tear you apart at any moment. Cassowaries are extremely large birds that cannot fly and are known to be super aggressive. They look somewhat similar to an angry ostrich and have sharp teeth that are ready to mutilate anything that comes nearby. They weigh about 160 pounds and can cause serious injuries or worse. In addition to all of this, Cape Tribulation still offers one final surprise for its guests: a nearby forest that's filled with poisonous snakes and trees with thorns and spikes that can inflict serious, life-threatening injuries if you're not careful. The leaves of these trees are known to be razor-sharp and can cut a human's skin with ease. The wounds can become infected and may even lead to amputation. It's best to stay far away from Cape Tribulation. Oymyakon. With a low temperature of a chilly minus 67.8 degrees Celsius, the village in Far East Russia is considered the coldest inhabited place on our globe. But how do the approximately 500 residents actually manage to defy the extreme conditions in their homeland? Since ordinary pipes tend to freeze in such sub-zero temperatures, most residents swear by outhouses in the backyard instead of conventional toilets. Because the frozen ground is also not suitable for cultivation, meat and fish are the main items on the menu. The heavy pelts in turn help people not to freeze to death. Despite this, frozen eyelashes and icy faces are part of everyday life here. In view of this, it seems all the more surprising that summers in Oymyakon are drastically different from winters. In the warm weeks, the thermometer can climb to over 30 degrees Celsius. This is why temperature differences of more than 100 degrees are possible in 1 year. Island of Rebirth. It's almost like an irony of fate. The island that has the word rebirth in its name has disappeared from the maps these days. Originally, the island was in the Aral Sea, but due to the fact that it dried out, it's now part of the mainland. In late 1940s, the Soviets built a research laboratory for biological weapons here, with the biological weapons being tested there for deadliness for years. However, the extremely dangerous tests were not without consequences. After a mass death of fish in the 1970s, 50,000 saiga antelopes died here in 1988, and that within 1 hour. We've only known since 1991 that the research facility, which was top secret at the time, existed at all, and what incidents took place there. The following year, the laboratory was finally closed, and the village of Kontubek has resembled a ghost town ever since. But what do you actually do with those deadly chemicals and pathogens when you no longer need them? Right, you just leave them where they are. Unbelievable but true. Pathogens such as smallpox, anthrax, or bubonic plague were simply left lying around in rusty, unmarked containers. Against this background, it should come as no surprise to anyone that the soil is still contaminated with anthrax, and cases of plague are also recorded in the region from time to time. Java and Sumatra, Indonesia. Two islands in Indonesia are believed to be the homes of more natural disasters than any other place in the world. Java and Sumatra are victims of serious droughts, landslides, floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis that threaten anyone who lives in the area. According to the Center for Hazards and Risk Research, there are more documented cases of natural disasters here than any other part of the world in modern history. Back in 2004, a tsunami struck the area, simply known as the 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami. The tsunami is estimated to have taken the lives of 227,898 people after causing an earthquake that measured a 9.1 on the Richter scale. 130,000 people are believed to have lost their lives in other portions of the world due to the tsunami. This isn't the area's only danger, though, as smaller disasters take place frequently throughout the continent. In the last 100 years, droughts have killed about about 10,000 people, volcanoes have claimed the lives of nearly 18,000, and earthquakes are estimated to have taken the lives of nearly 22,000 people. Floods and landslides have also been a major issue for the area, though to a much smaller degree in recent years. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, a major city located in Illinois, is known for being one of the most dangerous cities in America. Chicago's a major hotspot for gang and drug-related violence and has claimed the place in the top 10 most dangerous cities in America several years in a row. If you're forced to visit Chicago for some reason, the best piece of advice we can offer is to never venture out at night. Dozens of people lose their lives in Chicago every day, largely due to gunfire and robbery. Most of these cases take place at night, though some people lose their lives even in broad daylight. Which of the featured places scared you the most? Do you know any other dangerous places that didn't make it in today's video? We're already looking forward to your comments. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to learn more about the dark side of our world in the future. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time.